Hello there, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Vungo presenting you today's top stories as usual.
President meets with voters in Ho Chi Minh City. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính arrives in the U.S. And later on, SEA Games 31 flag raising ceremony held.
President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc on May 11th met with voters in districts of Củ Chi and Hóc Môn in Ho Chi Minh City.
This is a preparatory activity by Ho Chi Minh National Assembly delegation for the third session of the 15th National Assembly. At the meeting, voters expressed interest in the results of the fifth plenum of the 13th Central Committee, including those related to land policies and laws and the continual to promote anti-corruption. Voters also thanked the state leader for his attention to poor households in the two districts. Announcing positive results that the country has gained, both in terms of socio-economic and foreign affairs, Phúc applauded Ho Chi Minh City's good economic recovery, which has made an important contribution to the recovery of the whole country. He stressed that the city focused on solving the problems raised by voters and focused on removing important projects to promote economic development in the coming time.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính arrived in Washington, D.C. on May 11 morning local time, starting his 7-day trip to attend the special ASEAN-US summit and a working visit to the United States and the United Nations.
Welcoming the leader and his entourage at Andrews Military Airport were U.S. Ambassador to Vietnam Mark Knapper, Vietnamese Ambassador to the U.S. Nguyễn Quốc Dũng, and officials from the Vietnamese Embassy in the U.S. During their trip, Prime Minister Chính will participate in activities within the framework of the special ASEAN-US summit, have bilateral meetings with leaders from the U.S. and some ASEAN countries, and hold working sessions with UN leaders. He will also meet leaders of a number of U.S. ministries, agencies, international organizations, businesses, experts and scholars, and visit some economic, cultural, and education establishments in the country, among others.
Vietnamese Ambassador to the U.S. Nguyễn Quốc Dũng has emphasized the significance of the upcoming ASEAN-US Special Summit, saying that the resolve of the U.S. President Joe Biden and the ASEAN leaders to organize the summit despite uncertainties in Europe, especially the conflict in Ukraine, demonstrates the importance they attach to the relationship.
Ambassador Dũng made the remarks in an interview with the Vietnamese agency ahead of Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính working trip to the U.S.
The event will be an occasion for the two sides to review their relationship, set out cooperation orientations in the time ahead, and exchange views on regional and international issues of shared concern.
Ambassador Dũng is also optimistic about the good prospects for cooperation between Vietnam and the U.S., which he said meets the interests of their people.
Leaders of the two countries have paid attention to promoting the economic relations and always supported cooperation between their businesses.
Prime Minister Chính is scheduled to engage in bilateral activities with the U.S. side, including meetings with representatives from the U.S. administration and parliament, business people, and scholars.
The 11th session of the 15th National Assembly Standing Committee opened in Hanoi on May 11 under the chair of National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ.
During the 3-day sitting, members of the committee will debate 11 issues and give opinions in written form on 3 others. Opening the session, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ underlined that many matters considered at the session will be submitted to the National Assembly's third plenary session that is slated for May 23rd. As scheduled, the committee will discuss a draft revised resolution on the issuance of regulations for National Assembly's meetings and adjustments to the law and ordinance building program for 2022. They will give comments on a report on the implementation of socio-economic tasks and state budget plans for 2021, consider investment policy for a number of infrastructure projects, and discuss an audit report on the use of resources for pandemic prevention and control activities, among others.
On the occasion of Buddha's birthday, head of the party's Central Committee's Commission for Mass Mobilization, Bùi Thị Minh Hoài, visited and congratulated monks, nuns and Buddhists in An Lạc Pagoda in Phu Lý City, Hà-Nam Province on May 11.
On behalf of the party and state, Hoài conveyed congratulations to monks, nuns and Buddhists in the province, wishing them a good anniversary. She appreciated active contributions made by the Vietnamese Buddhism followers in general and those in Hà-Nam in particular to the development of the country of the past time. The head of the Mass Mobilization Commission expressed her hope that the Buddhist followers will continue strengthening the national unity bloc and contributing to the country's development.
The Vietnam Association of Foreign Invested Enterprises has released an annual report on foreign investments in Vietnam last year.
The 250-page report, in both Vietnamese and English, is expected to be useful for policy-making agencies, research and training institutions, FDI firms and international investors, he said. Foreign investment is a silver lining in Vietnam's economic picture amid the adverse impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the national and global economy. According to a report, since the National Assembly passed the law on foreign investment in Vietnam in 1987, the foreign invested economic sector has continuously developed. The FDI sector now accounts for around 25% of total social investment, 55% of total industrial production value in Vietnam, and more than 70% of the country's export revenue. It has generated great jobs for 4.6 million people, or more than 7% of the country's workforce, and indirectly created jobs for millions of others.
The number of Vietnamese laborers aged from 15 reached some 51.2 million in the first quarter of this year, up to 100,000 as compared with the same period last year, according to the General Statistics Office.
Of the figure, 51 million people have got jobs, up 132,200 year-on-year, with those working in the service sector making the largest share, followed by industry and construction, and agro-forestry fishery. The office said the program on social economic recovery and development has warmed up the labor market in the first 3 months. Meanwhile, around 1.3 million people were unemployed, down 135,200 from the previous quarter. Living standards of laborers have been improved and their average income has been restored significantly. The labor productivity in 2021 increased by 4.71% due to improved qualification of workers, with the proportion of trained workers with degrees and certificates in 2021 reaching over 26%, higher than the 25% of 2020.
The flags of sports delegations to the SEA Games 31 were hoisted at the Meeting National Sports Complex in Hanoi on May 11 morning.
The flag hoisting ceremony was intended to give encouragement to athletes while promoting culture and people of Vietnam. Being held in Hanoi and 11 cities and provinces, the Games serves as a sports arena for the most outstanding athletes in the region. Themed for Stronger Southeast Asia, it features 40 sports with 523 events. The biennial event was initially slated for late 2021, but delayed to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Courage athlete Do Thị Trang on May 10 bagged the first gold medal for Vietnamese delegations at the 31st Southeast Asian Games.
Trang gained most points in the women's under 48 kilograms category at Hoài Đức Gymnasium in Hanoi's Hoài Đức district. She defeated Su Kin Kin of Myanmar and Võ Thị Thùy Dương of Vietnam, though suffered a loss to Thailand's Khomdet Dundara. In the final, Trang faced Helen Akupan of the Philippines, who had an identical record in her previous fights leading up to the meet. Trang faced no difficulty in beating Akupan to become the first champion of Vietnam at SEA Games 31st on home turf.
I'm very happy. I would like to thank our trainers and friends for helping me making the achievement.
Following chance victory, Bùi Minh Quân, Nguyễn Phạm Hồng Mơ, and Trần Thương secured 3 other gold medals for Vietnam in the men's 81 kilograms, women's 52 kilograms, and men's 90 kilograms categories.
SEA Games 31's opening ceremony on May 12th will depict a beautiful and hospitable Vietnam that is striving, together with other ASEAN countries, to become even stronger following COVID-19.
A highlight of the ceremony will be the use of state-of-the-art technologies, including mapping, augmented reality, and extended reality, among others. Notably, the symbols of the 40 sports held at the Games will be displayed in the style of Vietnam's traditional Dong Ho folk painting art.
The organizing committee has had only 2 months to prepare for the ceremony. We have done our best to have everything in place.
Mapping, augmented reality, and extended reality are the latest in visual technologies and have been used at major sporting events worldwide in recent times.
On the tech stage, viewers will be able to watch vivid 3D images of rice plants, a symbol of Southeast Asian wet rice civilization, bamboo representing the flexibility and resistance of the Vietnamese people, among others. These images will be interspersed with singing and dancing.
The final session of the ceremony has a theme Shining Southeast Asia and reflects the solidarity and friendship between Vietnam and other ASEAN countries, forming a strong regional community and a rising role for the bloc on the world stage.
The Singaporean table tennis team arrived in the northern province of Hai Duong on May 10, the first team to arrive in the locality for the upcoming SEA Games 31.
All team members underwent COVID-19 tests upon arrival. Later that day, the team held a training session in preparation for the Games. As a venue for table tennis at SEA Games 31st, Hai Duong is expected to welcome nearly 100 players, coaches, and representatives of organizations from 8 countries: Thailand, Singapore, the Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Myanmar. The table tennis competition will take place from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily on May 13 to 20 at the Gymnastics and Sports Stadium in Hai Duong.
Among the 10 most outstanding Vietnamese athletes selected to join the torch relay at the opening ceremony of SEA Games 31, fans will be delighted to see Nguyễn Thị Thúy Hiền, the most renowned Vietnamese wushu athlete of all time.
Those who watch these scenes live on television are probably no longer young. When Vietnam first hosted the SEA Games 19 years ago, wushu athlete Nguyễn Thị Thúy Hiền had the honor of taking part in the torch relay.
SEA Games 22 was very special for me. I ended my professional career with a gold medal.
Nearly 2 decades later, fans still recognize the Golden Girl when she appears in videos to promote SEA Games 31st. For Hiền, the regional sporting event has reawakened her burning desire for sport.
It's an honor for me to experience the SEA Games again. I can live among my passion one more time.
Those who love and admire Hiền can turn back the clock and watch the Golden Girl of Vietnamese sports in the torch relay at SEA Games 31st at Mỹ Đình National Stadium on May 12.